This is Zen Scrolls Through Gates in Time. It's Chapter 3. The teacher responds to her principal. The recap for Chapter 2 was stopping briefly before the closed staff room door. Kathy gathered her thoughts together. Then, and only then, she opened it and walked in. "Miss Catherine Sanders, what the hell do you think you were doing?" There was the principal, angry, practically yelling at her. "You can't just tell people to kill God without expecting some kind of repercussions from the community. What have you got to say for yourself before we dismiss you for the day? Maybe next week." Introduction to a Roshi. Catherine, briefly stunned by the accusations and outbursts as a deer's eyes shine wide with astonishment when caught in headlights, walked to within a meter of the administration before looking up from her lofty 5'2" plus 2-inch pumps before calmly responding, "Seems by berating me in front of staff colleagues with a patently false accusation, you leave me but two options. Deny the assertion, which leads us nowhere. I know people choose to judge quickly, and gossip being what it is, will probably find me guilty before the end of the day. Or I can merely walk out, take the rest of the day off, so you can at first cool off, and secondly, you can entangle the mess you just created." She added, "Best of luck finding a substitute for the rest of the day." That said, she pivoted 180 degrees, took her jacket from her assigned book, and started to walk out. "Now look here, young lady, you can't just leave. You have responsibilities to me and the other staff and the students you teach." That did it for Kathy. The young lady condescension. She turned and quietly said, "Unlike you, I know my responsibilities. It is because of those commitments I choose to leave. As for you, I suggest you learn how to curb your dictatorial demands. You sound and speak like a minor Hitler." This time, without listening to the administrator, she wended her way quickly through the door, closing it softly behind her. Catherine's anger slowly receded as she made her way quickly outside the door to her car, thinking, the fates must be with me. At least he isn't trying to stop me. At the car, she unplugged it before climbing in, trusting the gods would still be with her as she stepped on the brake and pushed the start button. It started. What to do? What to do now? Where to go? Who to see? Marion, her best friend, taught until 3:30. Ghosted at home alone? Nah, husband's still at work. God knows when he'd return. Go to a lounge? It was now 10:50. Most opened at 11. That sounded like a damn fun idea. She could certainly use a stiff drink. A lounge further from school, closer to home it would be. Kathy knew the exact place. The Hideaway Grill, a favorite stop for meeting people with different ideas, of learning about interesting ideas, a place where Marion and she learned about Zen Roshi and the lecture. Parking her car in front of the lounge, Mrs. Saunders almost literally slid into the place without opening the door. She reminded herself to tell the manager or bartender to get someone to salt the sidewalk. Opening the door hastily, scooting inside, she hesitated until her eyes adjusted to the low light before carefully stepping down a set of stairs to decide which table to slouch down in and disappear in a haze of alcohol-induced somnolence. It was a surprise. It was a surprise Kathy who saw the Roshi lecturer from the night before sitting at the bar with what looked like a tall Spanish coffee in front of him. She decided to sit the stool next to him, beside him, waited long enough for him to acknowledge her with a nod, then stated, "Listened to your talk last night, impressed by the koans, guiding people toward enlightenment, without pureness of being and finding a moral center. Hey, thought you guys weren't supposed to drink." Excuse me, please. Smiling, he replied, "Join me in a hot Spanish coffee? You look like you could use one. What, problems at work? Administrator assuming things about you? A little taken aback by his accuracy, she nodded and grunted a grateful yes to the offer. Tough, is it not? People's misconceptions, I mean. Not unlike you assuming all enlightened Roshi must follow certain patterns of behavior. Quite amusing, actually. For your information, we're as different as you and your girlfriend. You a blonde and she a black-haired. You short, she's a bit taller. You prefer short skirts, she's more conservative. The only thing you two have in common is teaching English. Given these differences, you would think an intelligent lady such as yourself assume all Aussies are the same? After speaking, the man shot back the rest of his coffee, stood up and strode purposely toward the door, stopped just before opening, turned around and proclaimed, "This day has not ended. Finish your drink and go home." He walked out. Now, Kathy sometimes met strange, different, even mysterious individuals, but this person, well, indescribable. She partly remembered part of Churchill's evaluation of Russia, but describing the man she met, a riddle wrapped in a mystery inside an enigma. Have problems with that word. What she couldn't figure out, what motivated all people she met, what was it in it for them, for him? There was no apparent reason he should talk to the way he did, let alone buy her a drink. Looking at the Spanish coffee, Kathy remembered what he said. Finishing the drink as fast as she could, she grabbed her purse and made her way out the door, carefully knotted against the slippery surface to the car. 10 minutes later, usually a 15-minute drive, she arrived at the place she called home. Everything from the outside looked okay. A niggling worry inside of her that something had happened to it made her drive faster than usual. So much for this crap about home house statement, Catherine thought. Wonder how much more was it that he made up. Gingerly making her way from the car to the front door, Kathy unlocked the deadbolt, still warily looking around the room, seeming everything was in its place. Taking off the pumps and slipping on slippers, she made her way to the bar. This morning felt like a Scotch neat day, pouring a 2-finger amount. Then the satisfied feeling woman made her way to the kitchen to make a well-deserved snack. On the table in the kitchen alcove, she noticed a letter-sized piece of paper wrapped around the envelope. "What's this?" she mused. Unfolding the paper, she read the brief note. "Catherine, feels as if we've been distant for far too long. We no longer even talk. You read, I go to work. For some time, I've been staying away longer and longer. You never seem to notice or care. I found someone else to love and share my life with. In the envelope enclosed is a petition for a divorce. I have packed my clothes, will not be home tonight. My lawyer will talk to your lawyer." You dumb fuck, Kathy thought to herself. More about herself. She shouted out loud, "God damn it all anyway! What the hell could possibly go wrong today?" Her cell phone barked. An overly friendly human resources person informed her she had a meeting with the school board, school administration, and concerned parents Monday morning at 9 a.m. Thus endeth this episode.